This weekend, we had the 40th anniversary of the greatest sports upset ever when the U.S. Olympic team beat the Russians in hockey. Up to then, the Red Army team had won the previous 4 gold medals, dating back to 1960, the last time a U.S. team won gold. As a kid, you can remember sitting in front of a TV, transfixed, witnessing history, and for me, my first complete hockey game. But you have to wonder where Bernie Sanders was back then and who he was rooting for. Here's Bernie from the 80s.
You know, it's funny, sometimes American journalists talk about how bad a country is because people are lining up for food. That's a good thing. In other countries, people don't line up for food. The rich get the food and the poor starve to death.
That is amazing. Anyway, that was a long time ago. But you might consider how Soviet citizens felt when they heard a free person in a free country papering over their misery, doing publicity for their dictator. So, has Bernie changed much? Has he learned not to minimize the tragedies of totalitarianism? Here he was on 60 Minutes last night.
We're very opposed to the authoritarian nature of Cuba. But, you know, it's unfair to simply say everything is bad. You know, when Fidel Castro came into office, you know what he did? He had a massive literacy program. Is that a bad thing, even though Fidel Castro did it?
Ah, yes, the literacy program. The old joke, the left always waves when you bring up the ravages of communism. But everyone can read, they'll say. Yep, and Ted Bundy was a great dancer, and Charles Manson played decent guitar. But I will give Bernie this. Admitting Castro did bad things, that's progress, or at least a concession to the obvious. So as Bernie storms towards the nomination, remember history, the good and the bad, and remember what side Bernie chose. Murderous tyrants. Is that a bad thing, even though a leading Democratic candidate did it? The answer, damn straight it's bad. Bernie's now into his 8th decade. He's had a long adult life to reconsider, and he still can't get it straight. Welcome back, Juan. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
Isn't it great to be back? You were touring Disney and Universal Studios, and now you're back with the adults.
I was in the home of kiddie capitalism.
Yes.
Yes, I'm telling you. Those kids love capitalism. My wallet's lighter because of kiddie capitalism.
So I want to ask you, I think this is a fair comparison. The weakness of the right is a desire to export values to countries, but the weakness of the left is always to romance any radical movement, right? It's like no matter if it's Cuba, if it's Soviet Union or El Salvador, Nicaragua, it's like they've never met a revolutionary cause that they didn't like. And isn't that kind of weakness that Bernie kind of expresses, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, the problem at the moment is I think there are people both on the left and the right who don't understand how popular Bernie's rhetoric is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a shock to me because I'm one of those people who didn't realize it, but I mean, the fact is there's some people, let me just think about this for a second, but people, let's say, facing mounting medical bills. Mm-hmm. They don't care if Bernie Sanders says, oh yeah, Fidel Castro wasn't that bad, or they don't care if Bernie Sanders says, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for it. They just think, wait a minute, my medical bills are overwhelming. I've got problems in my personal life, and I see it through my prism, and Bernie Sanders says he's going to help me. So I think this is the populist appeal that Trump had from the right. I think this is the populist appeal from the left. We live in a populist political era.
That's true. And this is, we've talked about it, could be the mirror of Trump. We do have tape of Bernie talking about how much his programs will cost from 60 Minutes. Let's play that.
Okay.
Yay.
Do you have a price tag for all of this?
We do. I mean, you know, the price tag is, it will be substantially less than letting the current system go. I think it's about $30 trillion.
That's just for Medicare for all.
Just Medicare for all. Yes.
Do you have a price tag for all of these things?
No, I don't. We try to. No, you mentioned making public colleges and universities tuition free and canceling all student debt. That's correct. That's what I want to do. We pay for that through a modest tax on Wall Street speculation.
But you say you don't know what the total price is, but you know how it's going to be paid for. How do you know it's going to be paid for if you don't know how much the price is?
Well, I can't rattle off to you every nickel and every dime.
Dana, that no one can. That's a fact.
And then today, he also announced a $1.5 trillion program for childcare. So that is truly cradle to grave.
Yes, it is.
From the beginning. The revolution, like that, it is intoxicating. And I think, though, just think strategically for a moment, he's got to win Florida if he wants to win the presidency. And that's a 50-50 proposition for them, probably. I mean, I think Trump's got the edge, of course, but you have somebody like Democratic Congresswoman Donna Shalala, who represents Miami, who comes out today on the Fidel Castro piece and was like, oh no, That is not going to fly with us down here. And another congresswoman down there did the same, both Democrats. I think that the Bernie versus Trump matchup could actually change the way we look at the electoral map. Maybe it won't, but I think that it will. And what's really interesting is, going around, I was in Colorado over the weekend, and they passed, the legislature there passed one of those national popular vote things where no matter who won in their state, they would pledge all their delegates to whoever won the national popular vote. But think, what if President Trump wins the popular vote because of this? Then all of that effort for on the left will have been for nothing, and they're trying to change a system for no reason.
Yeah.
Wow, Trump winning the popular vote. There goes that talking point, Juan. Can't wait till that happens. You know what I just realized? Juan, if Bernie is the nominee, is going to have to defend Bernie Sanders for 9 months. That's going to be difficult. It's going to change the whole dynamic of the five. I don't know what to think of that. About the literacy program, Greg.
Yes.
They weren't teaching kids how to read Hemingway and how to use an adverb. This was a propaganda effort. They were having them read Karl Marx.
Yeah.
That was the literacy. Read the Communist Manifesto. And then the other thing he praises, the healthcare. Fidel had 3 botched surgeries in his country by Cuban doctors. They had to send out to a surgeon in Spain to come back and try to save his life, but he died. I don't know how they're going to get around him praising Soviet Union, Castro, Hugo Chavez, when Bernie needs seniors to vote for him, more than blacks, because seniors remember the Cold War. They have money in the markets. Maybe they own a business. They won't vote for a Republican, but they're not going to vote for a revolution, and that's what Bernie wants. My mom told me she will not vote for Bernie Sanders.
She's voting for Trump.
No. But she will not vote for Bernie because this is a direct quote. Bernie can't pay for anything. It doesn't add up. She also doesn't like being yelled at. But to your point, not by me, but by Bernie, that too. To your point, Juan, Bernie does make people feel like he cares about them. Yeah. Workers feel like Bernie cares.
That's true.
And in an election, that is a big positive piece of empathy that you can really come out and vote for someone based on.
It's the same thing with Trump, though. That Trump, they felt that Trump was connecting with the voters, the average person, and that's important, Dagan. I do credit Sanders. I will say this, that off the bat, he admitted Castro and Cuba did bad things. I mean, that to me is like a little bit of growth.
No, he's just gotten better at soft peddling his support for murdering dictators and leftist, to use your word, tyrants. He's just better at trying to get people to ignore it. If you go through the list, you said Hugo Chavez. He wrote a letter in January of 2003 supporting this guy who starved his own people. These are individuals who killed their own people either intentionally or accidentally. He supported the Socialist Workers' Party presidential nominee in 1980 and 84. He supported Soviet-backed leader Daniel Ortega on a trip, calling him impressive and saying it makes sense for the regime to suppress newspapers. He advocated a 100% tax on anybody making earnings more than $1 million. He has asserted as recently as 87 total takeover by the government of giant swaths of the economy, of industries. And the reason seniors won't vote for him, because Medicare for All not only wipes away 180 million people's private insurance who get it through their employer, it also folds Medicare as it exists today into his plan. It gets rid of Medicare as it exists today. Try to sell that to somebody who's over the age of 55.
I think, I remember 2016, we sat around and we said, Trump said this, Trump did this, Trump changed his opinion on this, abortion, he was a Democrat. Yeah. And you know what? That guy's president.
Yeah, but attacks on him made him stronger. It feels like that's happening.
But he's running on taking health insurance away from individuals. Currently, 1/3 of Americans in Medicare and 4/5 of those in Medicaid get their benefits through a private insurance company. This is today. So the only argument that the left has, if Bernie gets the nomination, is, well, he might not do it.
Yeah. Well, if they lose the House and Senate, he won't be able to do it.